The evidence room was quiet, but Detective Maya Carter could feel her heart pounding like a drum. On the metal table in front of her sat a small clear bag. Inside it was something so tiny most people would laugh if you told them it could solve a murder. A single, ordinary-looking blue button. Not a fancy button. Not a rare jewel. Just a blue plastic button with 4 holes. Maya had stared at hundreds of clues in her career. Shoe prints, phone records, camera footage. But none of them made her hands shake the way this button did. Because Maya knew what this button meant. "This is it," she whispered. Her partner, Detective Ben Wallace, leaned closer. "You're sure?" Maya nodded slowly. "The killer left one clue that solved everything. And it's this." Ben exhaled, like he had been holding his breath for days. "Then we can finally tell the family." Maya looked through the glass window at the big board on the wall. Photos, maps, sticky notes, timelines. The case had turned their lives into one long, sleepless night. And now, a button had just pushed the whole case into place like the final piece of a puzzle. But before Maya could say another word, the phone on the wall rang. Ben picked it up. His face changed right away, like the air had turned cold. "What?" he said. "Slow down." "Where?" Maya watched him, confused. Ben's eyes flicked to hers. He covered the phone and mouthed, "We have a problem." Then he spoke into the receiver again, firm and sharp. "Lock it down. Don't touch anything. We're coming now." Ben hung up, and for a second, neither of them moved. "What happened?" Maya asked. Ben swallowed. "Someone just tried to erase the security footage from the storage building. The same building where the button was found." Maya stared at him. That meant one thing. Whoever the killer was, they had just realized the button mattered, and they were scared. Maya grabbed her coat. "Let's go." As they rushed out, Maya's mind flew back to where it all began. Before the button, before the board, before the sleepless nights. It started in a small town outside Chicago, in a place where people waved at each other and kids rode bikes on quiet streets. Her name was Emily Harper. Emily was a kind woman. She worked at a local library. She liked mystery books and hot chocolate, and long walks after work. On the morning she disappeared. She sent her sister a message that said, "Busy day, but I'm okay. Call you later." She never called later. At first, everyone thought Emily just had a normal problem. Maybe her phone died. Maybe she forgot time. Maybe she needed space. But after one full day, then 2, then 3, worry turned into fear. Then the police found her car. It was parked behind a closed shopping center, far from where Emily normally went. The car doors were shut. The lights were off. Nothing looked broken. From the outside, it almost looked like someone had simply parked and walked away. But Maya knew something was wrong the moment she saw the driver's seat. Emily's purse was still inside. People don't leave their purse behind when they walk away for a minute. Maya and Ben searched the area. They talked to store workers, neighbors, and anyone who might have seen Emily. Most people said the same thing. "I didn't see anything." But one person did. A teenager named Tyler Brooks said he saw a woman who looked like Emily near the shopping center. He also saw a tall man wearing a dark jacket. Tyler couldn't see the man's face clearly, but he remembered one detail. "The man had a backpack," Tyler said, "like a big one, and he walked fast." A backpack was not much to go on. Still, Maya wrote it down. In a case like this, even the smallest detail could matter. Days passed. The town grew quieter, like it was holding its breath. People stopped letting their kids walk alone. Families kept their doors locked. The library put up a photo of Emily near the entrance with the words, "Have you seen her?" Then the case became much bigger. A hiker found something in the woods. It was not something Maya wanted to describe in detail. She never liked speaking about death like it was a story. Emily had been a real person. Someone loved her. Someone missed her. But what Maya could say was this. Emily was gone, and someone had done it. The town cried, and the fear turned into anger. Now it wasn't just a missing person case. It was a murder case, and the killer had left almost nothing behind. No clear fingerprints. No clear video. No useful DNA. No witness who saw a face. It felt like the killer was a ghost. At night, Maya sat at her kitchen table, staring at notes until her eyes hurt. She played the same thought again and again. How do you catch someone who leaves nothing? Then, 1 week later, Ben brought in a box from the evidence unit. Found in the woods, he said, near the trail where the hiker was. Maya opened the box. Inside was a torn piece of dark fabric. It was small, but it looked like it came from a jacket. Maya held it up to the light. The fabric had a clean rip, like it snagged on a branch and torn. And right beside the tear, something was missing. A button. Maya looked up at Ben. A jacket, she said. A dark jacket. Ben's eyes widened. Like Tyler said. Maya's mind started to race. If the killer's jacket tore during the crime, it could mean the killer had been close enough to leave something behind without even knowing. They searched the woods again. Carefully. Slowly. Like people looking for a needle in a haystack. For hours, they found nothing. Then, right as the sun began to sink and the forest turned gray, an officer shouted from behind a tree, "Detective Carter, over here." Maya ran. On the ground, half covered by leaves, was something small and blue, a plastic button. Maya felt the world go still, because deep down, she knew what this meant. The killer didn't leave a weapon. The killer didn't leave a confession. The killer left something even more dangerous, a clue that could point to exactly who he was. Then Ben's phone buzzed. He looked at the message, and his face dropped. Maya's stomach tightened. "What is it?" Ben whispered. "Someone is breaking into the evidence storage building." Maya stared at the blue button in her hand, and in that moment, she understood something terrifying. The killer wasn't hiding anymore. The killer was moving, and the next thing he did could destroy the only clue that solved everything. Sirens did not scream yet, but the whole police station felt like it was screaming inside. Detective Maya Carter and Detective Ben Wallace ran down the hallway, so fast Maya could hear her own breathing. Their shoes slapped the floor. Officers looked up as they passed, confused and scared. "The evidence storage building is across the lot," Ben said, already pulling his keys. Maya gripped the clear bag, holding the blue button. "If someone breaks in, they're not looking for money," she said. "They're looking for this." They burst through the back door and into the cold night air. The sky was dark, and the parking lot lights made long shadows on the ground. In the distance, the evidence building stood like a quiet box, plain, small, and easy to forget. But tonight, it didn't look quiet. A side door was slightly open. Maya stopped. Her heart jumped. "Ben." "I see it," Ben said, voice low. They moved slowly now. "Careful." Maya's hand hovered near her radio. Ben held his flashlight ready. As they got closer, they heard a soft sound, a shuffle, like shoes sliding on concrete. Then a louder sound, metal scraping. Someone was inside. Ben whispered, "Call it in." Maya spoke into the radio softly. "Unit 3, we need backup at the evidence building. Possible break-in happening now." A crackle answered, "On the way." Ben and Maya stepped through the open door. The air inside smelled like paper and plastic. Rows of shelves stood tall, filled with boxes labeled with case numbers. The room was dark, except for a thin line of light coming from a hallway. Ben clicked on his flashlight. The beam cut across the floor and landed on something that made Maya's stomach twist. A black backpack set near the shelves. Ben froze. "Backpack," he whispered. "Like Tyler said." Maya's throat went dry. That can't be a coincidence. They took one step forward. And then, crash. A box fell from a shelf somewhere deeper in the room. Ben shouted, "Police? Don't move." For a second, nothing happened. Then footsteps pounded. Fast. Running. Maya sprinted toward the sound. Ben followed. The footsteps moved toward the back exit. Maya swung her flashlight beam around the shelves. She caught a quick glimpse of a person, a tall shape in a dark jacket. Turning the corner. "Stop." Ben yelled. The person didn't stop. Maya ran harder, but the shelves made a maze. By the time she reached the back door, cold air rushed in. The person had already slipped outside. Maya and Ben bolted to the door and into the alley behind the building. Empty, only the sound of a distant car engine. Maya stared into the darkness, angry. She hated being seconds too late. Then backup arrived, lights flashing. Officers searched the area, but the person was gone. Ben went back inside to look for what was touched. Maya stayed at the door, shaking slightly, not from the cold, but from the feeling that they had just been chased by a shadow. An officer walked up. "Detective Carter, what do we do with the backpack?" Maya turned quickly. "Don't touch it. Photograph it first. Gloves, evidence bags, everything by the book." This was not just a break-in anymore. This was the killer stepping into their world. Ben came back out, face tight. "They tried to access the footage system," he said, "and a few boxes were moved, but it looks like they didn't find what they wanted." Maya held up the clear bag with the blue button. "Because it's here," she said. Ben looked at the button, then looked away. "That means they'll try again." Back inside, the evidence team worked carefully. The backpack was checked for prints and anything that could identify who brought it in. Maya watched from the side, arms crossed. Her mind kept replaying the moment she saw the tall figure. Tall, dark jacket, fast walk. It fit Tyler's description too well. But Maya had learned something important in her job. A detail can match and still be misleading. The truth had to be proven, not guessed. Hours later, Maya sat at her desk with a blue button under a bright lamp. She studied every tiny scratch and mark on it. Ben dropped into the chair beside her, holding 2 paper cups. "Coffee," he said. Maya took one. "Thanks." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Ben asked a question Maya didn't want to answer. "So, how does a button solve a murder?" Maya looked at him. "Because buttons come from clothes," she said. "And clothes come from stores. Stores are brands. Brands have patterns. Sometimes buttons are special to one company or one uniform." Ben nodded slowly. "So we tracked the button to jacket." "Yes," Maya said, "and the torn fabric we found. If it matches the same jacket, then we know what we're looking for." Ben leaned back. "But lots of people own dark jackets." Maya tapped the table gently. "Not a lot of people have a dark jacket, missing a blue 4-hole button from the left sleeve," she said. "Not lots of people have a jacket that ripped in the woods near where Emily was found." Ben's eyes sharpened. "So we need to find the exact type of jacket." Maya nodded. "And we can..." The next day, Maya and Ben visited a clothing repair shop in town called Stitch and Fix. The owner, an older woman named Linda Price, listened carefully as Maya explained. Linda adjusted her glasses and examined the torn fabric sample. Then she studied the button. "This is a work jacket button," Linda said. "See the thickness? It's made to handle rough use." Ben asked, "Like construction?" "Could be," Linda said. "But I've seen this exact button before." Maya leaned forward. "Where?" Linda thought for a moment. "A delivery uniform," she said. "A local delivery company uses jackets with these buttons. I hemmed one last month." Maya's heart beat faster. "Which company?" Linda walked to a drawer, pulled out a small receipt book, and flipped through pages. "Here," she said, pointing. "A customer named Derek Shaw. He works for Lakeview Courier Services." Ben's eyebrows lifted. "We have a name." Maya didn't smile. "Not yet. Names can be wrong. Receipts can be old. People can lie." But it was the first real direction they'd had. They drove to Lakeview Courier Services that afternoon. The building was busy, with vans coming and going. Workers carried packages, laughed, checked phones. It looked normal. Maya asked to speak with the manager, Mr. Grant Miller. In his office, Maya kept her voice calm and professional. "We're investigating a serious case," she said. "We need to see your uniform jackets." Mr. Miller frowned, nervous. "Why?" Ben said, "We can't give details yet, but it's important." Mr. Miller finally nodded and opened a closet. Inside were rows of dark jackets. Maya's eyes scanned them quickly. Dark, dark, dark. Then she saw it. One jacket had a small tear near the sleeve, and the blue button was missing. Maya's body went still. Ben whispered, "Maya." Maya stepped closer, carefully, like the jacket might jump up and run away. She pointed. "That one," she said. "Who wears that one?" Mr. Miller checked the tag. His face changed. "That belongs to Derek Shaw," he said quietly. Ben looked at Maya. "Where is he right now?" Mr. Miller swallowed. "He clocked out early today. Said he felt sick." Maya and Ben exchanged one sharp look. Then Maya asked a question that made the room feel smaller. "Does Derek have access to security cameras here?" she asked. Mr. Miller nodded slowly. "Yes," he said. "He helps with the system sometimes." Maya's mind flashed back to the evidence building, the attempted footage wipe, the backpack, the tall figure. She turned to Ben, voice low but urgent. "We need to find Derek Shaw," she said. Ben was already on his radio. "Dispatch! We need an address and phone number for Derek Shaw. Possible suspect. Move fast." Maya stared at the jacket again. The clue had solved everything. But now there was a new problem. If Derek knew they were close, he might run. And as Ben's radio crackled an address, another message came through. One that made Maya's blood turn cold. "Detective," the dispatcher said, "we just got a report. Someone matching your suspect's description was seen heading back toward the woods." Maya stood up so fast her chair nearly fell. Ben grabbed his keys. And just like that, the case exploded again, because the killer wasn't just being hunted now. The killer was going back to the place where it all began. The woods were quiet in a way that felt wrong. Detective Maya Carter stepped carefully between the trees, her flashlight cutting thin lines of light through the darkness. Leaves crunched under her boots. Somewhere far away, a car passed, but out here, it felt like the world had stopped. Ben Wallace moved beside her, alert and focused. Other officers spread out behind them, forming a wide line. Nobody spoke. Everyone listened. "This is where it started," Ben whispered. "If he came back, it means something." Maya nodded. When people return to a place like this, it's usually because they think it holds answers, or because they believe no one will look for them there again. Her radio crackled softly. "Units report movement near the old service road." A voice said. Maya raised her hand, signaling the team to slow down. They moved forward inch by inch. The trees thinned, opening into a small clearing near the trail where the hiker had made the discovery days ago. And there, near a fallen log, someone stood. Tall, dark jacket. A backpack rested on the ground. Maya's heart hammered. "Derek Shaw," she called out clearly. "This is the police. We just want to talk." The man froze. For a moment, nobody moved. The air felt tight, like it might snap. Then Derek turned slowly. He looked tired. Not angry. Not wild. Just tired. "I knew you'd find me," he said. Ben stepped forward carefully. "Derek, put your hands where we can see them." Derek did. He didn't run. He didn't argue. Maya watched his face closely. "Why did you come back here?" she asked. Derek swallowed. "Because I couldn't stop thinking about it," he said. "I kept telling myself it was over. But it wasn't." Officers moved in and gently placed him in handcuffs. Derek didn't resist. As they walked him toward the trail, Maya noticed something on his jacket. The left sleeve, the tear, and where a button should have been, nothing. Back at the station, Derek sat in the interview room under soft light. A camera recorded quietly. A glass of water sat untouched in front of him. Maya and Ben took their seats. Maya spoke calmly. "Derek, we found your jacket. It matches the fabric from the woods. The missing button matches the one we recovered." Derek closed his eyes. His shoulders slumped. "I didn't know the button fell," he said quietly. "I thought I was careful." Ben leaned forward. "Careful people don't break into evidence buildings," he said. Derek looked up, fear flashing across his face. "I panicked," he said. "When I saw the news talk about a button, I knew it was over. I tried to erase the footage, but I was too late." Maya stayed steady. "Emily Harper trusted you," she said gently. "She accepted a ride. She thought you were safe." Derek's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't plan it," he said. "I swear, I lost control. And once it happened, I didn't know how to stop." Maya listened, taking notes. She did not raise her voice. She did not argue. She let the truth settle into the room. The button had done its job. It had told them who. Now, Derek was telling them why. After the interview, Maya stepped outside to breathe. The night air felt cooler. Ben joined her. "You were right," he said. "The smallest thing solved everything." Maya nodded. "It always surprises people," she said. "They expect big clues, loud ones, but it's usually the quiet detail that speaks the loudest." The next days moved fast. Evidence was reviewed. The jacket was tested. The footage from the delivery company showed Derek wearing the same jacket the day Emily disappeared. His backpack appeared on a traffic camera near the shopping center. Each piece fit. The button was the key that turned the lock. In court, the story was told carefully, respectfully. No details were shared that didn't need to be shared. Emily's family sat together, holding hands. When the judge spoke, the room stayed silent. Derek pleaded guilty. There would be no long trial, no questions left hanging. Justice, though heavy, had arrived. Afterward, Maya visited the library where Emily had worked. A small plaque stood near the entrance now, honoring her love for books and kindness. Children read quietly at tables. Life moved forward, even after pain. Maya stood there for a moment, thinking about the blue button sealed in an evidence bag. Something so small, something so easy to miss. And yet, it had carried the truth the whole time. Back at her desk, Maya closed the case file. She wrote the final note, solved by a single overlooked detail. Ben peeked in. "Coffee?" he asked. Maya smiled faintly. "Yeah," she said. "Coffee sounds good." As they walked out together, the board on the wall was empty again, ready for the next case. But Maya knew she would remember this one. Because sometimes the thing that solves everything isn't loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just a quiet clue waiting to be seen. And once you see it, you can't unsee the truth.